Hi guys. Welcome to True Channel. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel. Top 25 Best Things Seen by Galileo Space Probe. So make sure to watch the full video. This fact sheet regarding the Galileo mission's 1996 trip to Jupiter was created by the mission crew. They have not been updated to reflect the most recent information about Jupiter, the Galileo mission, and our solar system. Rather, they are offered here as a historical record of an incredible, historic mission. Enjoy! Fact 25. As it entered Jupiter's atmosphere, the Galileo probe was moving at a speed of 106,000 miles per hour, which is the greatest speed ever recorded by a man-made object. If there were bridges spanning every ocean, a person could travel to and from the moon in just 5 hours at that speed, or they could complete a full rotation of the Earth in just 14 minutes. Fact 24. As of September 1994, the last time they were used, the drive motors used to deploy antennas had already been pulled over 15,000 times. Fact 23. Galileo covered 2.4 billion miles in his journey from Earth to Jupiter. Galileo's flight path was regulated along the way, and its antenna was kept pointed at Earth with the help of about 67 gallons of propulsion system fuel. 36 million miles per gallon are what that amounts to. To travel to and from the moon using that kind of mileage would only require 4 tablespoons of gas. It had been roughly 167 days prior to the atmospheric probe's arrival at Jupiter when Galileo navigators last had the opportunity to influence the entry circumstances. Probe entry had to happen 8 minutes sooner than planned in order for the radio link between the probe and the orbiter to be successful. After 167 days, the navigators were only permitted to make an error in the arrival time of less than 0.0033%, or 33 parts per million. Only a 0.0001% error caused probe entry to occur 14 seconds before the intended time. When the last orbiter trajectory correction maneuver was carried out 100 days prior to delivery, it took place 14 seconds later than the intended time. An error of 0.0002% that is equally impressive. Fact 21. Galileo missed its target at the Jovian moon Io by just 67 miles despite traveling 2.4 billion miles in just over 6 years to reach Jupiter. It's like trying to hit a bull's eye in New York with an arrow from Los Angeles and only missing by 6 inches. Fact 20. Galileo has traveled 2.4 billion miles to reach Jupiter since it was launched from Earth on October 18, 1989, taking just over 6 years. It moves at a speed of approximately 44,000 miles per hour. One could travel to the moon and back in just 11 hours at that speed. Or one could drive around the Earth's equator in less than 30 minutes, assuming there were bridges across all the oceans. Fact 19. The winds at the tops of Jupiter's clouds can reach speeds of 260 miles per hour. Jupiter has some incredibly high-velocity winds. Fact 18. Magnetic fields are sometimes very strong forces. A ton of Io's material is removed every second by Jupiter's magnetosphere. Electricity, in the form of a 3 million amp electric current, is produced by Io's orbital motion through Jupiter's magnetosphere. Fact 17. Using Galileo's onboard instruments to see the asteroid Gaspro was like trying to see the Goodyear blimp through a soda straw from 5 miles away while driving at 90 miles per hour. Fact 16. Revelation. Jupiter's moon. The volcanoes on the moon Io are among the most impressive looking ones. On Io, geysers erupt at up to 1 km/s speeds, 2,300 miles per hour. In comparison to other terrestrial volcanoes, Mount Etna's ejecta erupt out at a mere 112 miles per hour. These volcanoes hardly ever reach 200 miles per hour. Because of Io's low gravity, 1/6 that of Earth, its plumes are enormous, rising up to 162 miles above the surface. However, since there is no evidence of water on Io, sulfur dioxide is the most likely gas or liquid to be responsible for the plume geysers. If Old Faithful could be transported to Io, it would erupt a plume of water and ice that rose over 21 miles into the air. Fact 15. It is possibly the planet with the most recent record for volcanic activity. At least 200 volcanic calderas with a diameter of more than 12 miles have been observed there. Fact 14. The Galilean moon is being pulled by Jupiter like our own moon. Io also brings about tides on the surface of the Earth. Earth's ocean tides typically reach a height of 1 meter, 3 feet. Io, however, has truly amazing surface tides that can reach heights of 330 feet. There is no water there. Fact 13. How many people contributed to Galileo? Although it is unknown for certain, it is believed that since the project's inception in 1977, about 10,000 individuals have worked directly on it. So long as the inertial upper stage booster and those connected to the space shuttle are excluded. Fact 12. Galileo came within 100 kilometers of Io when he passed than was anticipated. This meant that Galileo's speed was slowed down more than anticipated by the gravity assist from Io, which resulted in a smaller than anticipated orbit around Jupiter. Galileo's navigators decided to just let the spacecraft continue on its course rather than using up over 10 kilograms of propellant to fix. This because doing so would cause it to arrive at its first encounter with the moon Ganymede a week earlier. It's incredible, but moving more slowly gets us there faster. Originally set for July 4, 1996, the Ganymede flyby has since been postponed. Ganymede would be roughly in the same place on June 27 because it takes the planet a little more than a week to complete one orbit of the Sun. Galileo's orbit was 1 week shorter than anticipated, allowing the first satellite encounter to be simply moved up 1 week. Fact 11. The discovery of Jupiter's moons Io, Europa, and Ganymede by Galileo Galilei took place on January 7 in 1610. A few days later, Galileo discovered Callisto, a moon. The largest in the Jovian system, the 4 moons are now known as the Galilean satellites in honor of their discoverer. Fact 10. Due to the asteroid Gaspra's small size, roughly 19 by 12 by 11 kilometers, or 12 by 7.5 by 7 miles, its surface gravitational force is 2,000 times smaller than that of the Earth, resulting in an escape speed of only 10 meters per second, 22 miles per hour. An Olympic sprinter could run himself into orbit. It would weigh 0.1 pounds for a 200-pound person. Fact 9. The Gaspra asteroid flyby served as yet another showcase for excellent navigation. At the closest range, Galileo was only 1.5 seconds and 1 kilometer, 0.6 miles, away from the target. It was still a remarkable accomplishment to get the photo. A scientist working for Galileo remarked, "It was like taking a picture of a big house in San Francisco from Los Angeles." Fact 8. While the majority of Galileo's operations are managed by commands that are pre-programmed and stored inside the spacecraft, there are still many circumstances where the commands must be sent up, in real time. We've had to do this how many times? 275,586 real-time commands had been sent to Galileo as of December 14, 1995, since its launch. 169 real-time commands have been sent just in the last week. Fact 7. Using a 4-inch telescope, the Galileo photopolarimeter radiometer was as far from Jupiter as Mars is from the Sun when it first noticed the light flashes brought on by comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 colliding with Jupiter in July 1994. Fact 6. Galileo's second flyby of Earth brought the spacecraft to a distance of just 303 kilometers, 182 miles. In its solar orbit, the spacecraft's speed increased by 3.7 kilometers per hour, 8,300 miles per hour, thanks to the gravity assist. The spacecraft was within a kilometer of its intended path and was only 0.1 seconds early thanks to the flawless navigation that has come to be expected from Galileo. Fact 5. Galileo Galilei only occasionally desired to pursue a mathematical education. He had a monk as a childhood dream. Fact 4. During Galileo's first Earth flyby, Delta V, the speed was 5.2 kilometers per second or 11,600 miles per hour, and the closest approach was 960 kilometers, 597 miles, above the planet's surface. Fact 3. Objects as small as 12 meters can be detected by the cameras on Galileo, according to 39 feet. That represents an up to 100,000 to 1 million-fold improvement over Galileo Galilei's original telescopic observations. Fact 2. Despite being a college dropout, Galileo Galilei eventually rose to the position of esteemed professor. Fact 1. The gravity assistance that Galileo received from Venus and Earth, twice, caused an 11.1 km/s change in velocity. To achieve the same boost, 10,900 kilograms, or about 12 times, more propellant would have been needed than what was initially on board. Galileo will be able to complete a challenging tour of Jupiter's system by using close flybys and gravity assists. To fly the tour without the billiards-like gravity assist technique, 3,600 kilograms. More propellant, roughly 4 times the amount on board at launch, would be required. So, that's it for today. We hope you enjoyed the video. Use the comments section below to tell us what you think about the video. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to be notified of all the latest videos.